Hello everybody. Today we will be discussing the project we did for our Intercultural Communication course. This is a course educated at KU Leuven GroupT for engineering students. Let's get started. Before having started the project, because my team members and I weren't that familiar with each other yet, we decided to meet up at Agora to get to know each other. Since the teacher opted us to strive for a, between brackets, cultural diverse group to elevate the input of the project, we had one Chinese girl in our group. However, this fact aside, we still had a hard time to find any dissimilarities between all of us to inspire us to do an interesting project about. So, we all told our backgrounds. We asked various questions about different domains like hobbies, families, and other stuff like that. But during all of that, nothing fascinating came about. After a while, though, almost having given up, we just started talking about school, just randomly, and that is when the question was raised, why Shauna, Chinese girl, out of all countries, actually decided to come to study in Belgium. For three Dutch students, it sounded kind of odd that someone's preference school, out of all countries in the world, will be in Belgium. Shauna's answer was very simple though. It is relatively cheap to study in Belgium. That's it. So, although our answer wasn't that spectacular, our interest in the subject was definitely sparked. And that is how we decided on our prototype research question. We just wanted to figure out what other reasons international students have to come to study in Belgium. Later, we changed the question a little bit because we want to address as many people as possible. Our research question was finally became the influence of our university on an international's being, like lifestyle, vision, etc.
We wanted to make an analysis that represents the international population of Leuven properly. However, it is impossible to interview every international in this city. So we decided to stick to a handful of people and just go deeper into them and make the most out of the conversations. Hence, we chose three international students that embody a dimension of unfamiliarity, and they are all from different countries, namely India, Albania, and Russia. We chose them for three reasons. First, they are good friends with two people in our team, which means we have prior experiences about them. Second, they have the same experience of studying abroad as an international student from China in our team. Third, the last person in our group doesn't know the interviewees at all, and they don't share the same cultural environment. So, her perspective is completely new. Before the interview, our group got together and came up with some questions. The questions were divided into two related parts, before and after. The purpose of the before part is to understand the cultural background of the interviewee, his lifestyle before contacting Belgian culture, and the views of the foreigners he has encountered in previous life. The after part is aiming more at the possible changes based on the previous questions, also the valuable things they have learned in Belgium and their future plannings. From these targeting questions, we gain a better understanding of the differences and the similarities between their culture and other cultures. These interviews were conducted only between us and the interviewees at home or in an empty classroom to avoid receiving ideal answers, which are not useful in our research. We also conducted video recordings when performing the interviews to capture the facial expressions and movements of the interviewees.
We divide the received results in two parts. First, we analyze how they experienced KU Leuven as a place to study in and why they chose it. Secondly, we analyze how they feel as an international student in Leuven. We see if they feel judged in any way. We asked the encounters why they chose Belgium as a place to study in and what their thoughts were about Belgium before coming here. The first question was very easy to answer for all three interviewees. KU Leuven is the cheapest university with the highest educational ranking. Also, the fact that we have an English program was an important factor. The first interviewee's view on the Belgian people was positive. He thought we are nice, welcoming, generous, and open minded. This, however, was an essentialist view on Belgium. These thoughts were based on an experience he had in the Netherlands and were generalized because we speak the same language. The other interviewees didn't have an opinion about the Belgian people. They don't generalize Belgian people because they don't want to be generalized themselves. Later, asking about their experience here, they said it's very different from home, because they live on their own now. They don't have to justify what they are going to eat or do to anyone. Another interviewee says he can create pressure for himself, because there are no parents here with high expectations. To get an image of how they feel as an international student here in Leuven, we asked them if they feel like they must prove themselves toward locals and if there are any stereotypes they must deal with. Also, we asked if their view on the Belgian people has changed. They immediately told us that they don't really hang out with Belgian people that much, so that it's difficult to answer. The reason for this is the little number of classes we have together and the language barrier. While saying this, they spoke for all the international students. By doing so, he's playing the identity card as well as generalizing all students from the international program. Gregory had to deal with some stereotypes about the Russian people. He feels like people think he's a good drinker and that he must live up to these expectations. Also, people are very surprised the Indian guy doesn't speak with an accent. All these stereotypes are partially based on images about their culture created by the media.
All three interviewees have been stereotyped before when coming to Belgium, some for their accent or lack thereof, and some for their drinking habits like Gregory. But their general consensus was that in their experience they did not have to deal with a lot of stereotypes. One of the reasons why this may be is that Leuven is a student city, with a lot of international students who are in the same situation as them. A sort of community has formed with all the international students. This is a good thing, but at the same time a bad thing. The international students really feel at home because they are surrounded with people who are in the same situation as them and could help them. But on the other side, the contact between international students and local students is very limited. The lives of the interviewed students really change when coming to Belgium, and often for the better. Before going into the interview, we might have thought that that would be the case, but more because of the local people. In reality, it was more the university and the other students at GroupT that caused this change. When we did the interviews, we went in hoping to get an answer to why international students should or should not come to KU Leuven to study. There are some negatives, like there aren't a lot of English programs at the moment, but the selection is still growing, and the contact between the international students and local students is very limited. The positives, on the hand, are that the quality of education is very good, especially compared to the price, that there is a real tight community in Leuven between the international students, and that although the contact between international and local students is very limited, they gain new experiences from being here, like going to campuses and experiencing what it is to be a Schacht. Also, their lifestyle is being influenced in a very positive way. Our research question could be answered in many ways, and the answer we got wasn't straightforward as you heard. It is up to the students themselves to see what they care about and if any of the points said are deal breakers or deal makers for them.